Hello and welcome back to my kitchen today. Today I have another essential oil product that I want to share with you. And I discovered it recently, just a few weeks ago. And I was actually going to come today and just kind of tell you about what it was and show you how to make it. And then I decided not to do quite that. I decided that I would invent the recipe with you. So what it is an essential oil mixture to inhale when you are feeling nauseated. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Okay, how did I happen upon that? First of all, I've never seen a product like this, but my husband had a surgical procedure, and when he was coming out of anesthesia, he felt, of course, sick to his stomach, which often happens, and they were, getting the medication so they could give him a shot for the nausea. And in the meantime, one of the nurses went and got this product and came and brought it. And let me show you what it is. Okay, so here it is. It was just like this, with the exception that it had a cover like a seal. Okay, so this is what they brought us. It does resemble a butter pat that's disposable from a restaurant, say takeout. It had a cover over it, and then the little holes, if you could see the little holes, that makes the product breathable. What was inside was this little felt disc. It's about the size of my thumbnail, and it is saturated in essential oil mixture. So what you do with this is just inhale it. My husband was still not quite awake, so I held this beneath his nose and he just inhaled normally. And he really wasn't even aware of it. But the interesting thing, and why I decided I have got to duplicate this, is because by the time they arrived to give him a shot, he no longer needed it. He said, "I'm not sick to my stomach. I'm not nauseated," and he didn't need to have an injection. This really took care of it. Well, I knew that he had not quite awakened from anesthesia, so he really wasn't even aware. And that means it wasn't psychological. This little product really calmed his stomach. So that's the product. It's for nausea relief. And rather than making it up and coming to you and just telling you how to make it and how to use it, I decided that I would let you witness so that you may learn, how do I do that? How can you find a product somewhere, enjoy the scent, and come home and duplicate it in your own kitchen? I have not made this recipe yet, but I do know what's in it. And so there are just 4 essential oils. There is peppermint, spearmint, ginger, and lavender. The only other thing, and this is what I've decided to do. I have a glass bottle with a glass dropper. I'm going to drop the essential oils in my glass bottle, and when I feel like I have the right scent, then I'm going to store it in my refrigerator. And now we're just going to go about it. All right, so I smell. So what I smell the most is peppermint. Well, I know that when I have used peppermint is a really strong scent, and I really will most likely need less peppermint than the other ones. I'm going to start out with 10 drops. All right, and then I'm going to move on to the spearmint. It's minty, but it's different. It smells different. And again, I'm going to just start with 10 drops and see how that goes. Next is the ginger. This is actually the first time I've ever used ginger. And then I'm having to use a tester, which doesn't have a dropper of my lavender because I don't have any more lavender. I've used it all, but this will be fine. I'm not going to be able to go exactly 10 drops. I'm guesstimating. All right, and now I'm just going to shake it and then compare. Obviously, if you have a sinus infection, you can't do this. You have to be able to smell. Okay. All right, I smell more lavender, and I think I'm going to add a little spearmint. I don't smell enough spearmint. All right, so I'm just going to go in 5-drop increments now. I just thought of one other thing that I should be doing. I'll be right back. You know how when you go to the perfume counter, they clear your nose with some coffee beans? Let me get out the coffee beans. Okay. That is really pretty close. Now I feel like I don't smell ginger quite as much now. So I'm going to go again, 5 drops of ginger. This time I'm actually going to shake that. You know what? I think that's it. Well, I think that's pretty darn close. So I'm going to do one other thing just to kind of test it a little more. I'm going to go ahead and take a dropper full. And the way I decided that I would administer this magical scent is just to drop it on just a couple of drops on a cotton pad. I think it needs a little bit more peppermint. Spearmint, peppermint. Okay. I'm going to go with 5 on this. These little bottles are great the way they're just so accurate. Give it a nice little shake and mix it up. Fresh cotton ball. All right. Okay, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now the only other thing I need to do is multiply the amount of drops, and I'm not going to begin to fill up that bottle. But since it only takes, you know, maybe 2 drops out of the whole dropper to inhale, I'm not even going to worry about that. I'll probably just cover the bottom and maybe about a 1/2 inch. If you wanted to put a carrier oil in this, you could, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to allow it to touch my skin. Therefore, it doesn't really need a carrier oil. I feel like it's going to last a little bit longer. If I were going to use a carrier oil, I would probably use grapeseed oil because it doesn't really have a scent. But the thing about grapeseed oil is I don't feel like it has as long of a shelf life. I'm just going to go ahead and cover the bottom, maybe with 1 inch, and put it in the door of my refrigerator. And then when someone is sick, and I hope it's not anytime soon, Okay, this is another overshare, which I know I'm always guilty of, but one of the worst things in the world to me is throwing up. I hate it. I will do anything to avoid it. And that's why making this up, keeping this in my refrigerator and having it available is really important to me. If I can avoid that, I will avoid that. So now that you know how to make it, let me just give you a few insights into why you would want to use this. Obviously, to avoid the dreaded vomiting. Essential oils, we're not ingesting them into our body, not these. Some you can, these are not to be taken internally. So the recipe, that's a good disclaimer, the recipe I just gave you, this is not to ingest unless you were using an essential oil that was one that says on the label it can be taken internally. And even then, I have no idea if this would work or not. If I'm sick to my stomach, I'm not putting anything else on my stomach. Therefore, it would need to go on my skin or breathe it in. So we know that when we take something into our stomach, it is absorbed and it moves into the bloodstream. Well, when you breathe something in, it's also absorbed and moves into your bloodstream. We have probably heard that ginger will calm the stomach. Well, you may not be drinking it in the form of a tea, but it's still going into your body. And so therefore, why wouldn't it calm your stomach? The spearmint and peppermint also will help to calm your stomach. And for me, they calm my nerves as well. Peppermint is my all-time calming scent. Why add the lavender? The lavender is so that you will not always associate mint, specifically mint and or ginger, with being sick. You know that the brain and the sense of smell are really highly linked. So what we are trying to avoid by adding a little bit of lavender is so that you're not taking in that scent of peppermint or mint and associating it with being sick, being ill. You know, essential oils have been used for centuries, the oils from the plants themselves. So this isn't really new, it's just put together in a different way. And honestly, we have gotten so far away from doing things that are natural that we don't even look for them anymore. We go to the doctor, we go to the pharmacist. And this is just one thing that you can do, keeping it a bit more natural and keeping it on hand. Not to mention, it's very inexpensive. And the other thing that I hope that you've learned today and will feel confident about is when you come across a product and you enjoy the scent, make it at home with your own essential oils. Feel free to do what I did, sniff and mix until you get it just right. There's not really a right or wrong way, and you may come up with some amazing scents and use them in all sorts of different products. You know the ingredients, and I will place below the video the actual recipe. I hope that you will make this up, keep it on hand for that time when you desperately need to feel better. Until the next time, namaste. I hope you have a wonderful day.